Jacobs Show right on YouTube. Turn on your notification bell to all so you never miss a beat. And guess what? Every time you watch, you're going to receive a real relevant and relatable guest that's going to share with you a piece of the puzzle on this journey called life that will help you be able to manage just a little bit smoother. At the end of the day, the Kim Jacobs Show goal is to be able to provide balance to the world, one household at a time.
Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. I am so excited to be with you all today. Today, we're going to be talking about someone that is legendary, someone that not everybody even knows about, but he has made an indelible mark on this earth while he was here. Dr. Vivien Thomas. Now, today, when I talk, I'm talking a little bit slower because one of the remaining descendants of his has a hearing impairment. So we want to make sure that she can read the closed captioning and also read my lips. So I'm so honored today to have with me two of the remaining granddaughters of Dr. Vivien Thomas. And welcome, Marcia Rasberry Smith. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And welcome to you, Ursula Dykoff. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for the invitation, Kim. I appreciate being on the show.
Thank you for both being here today. Listen, everyone, grab your virtual seats and please share this broadcast. Just share it. Time you come on and let everyone know that we're here today to talk about a legend, an innovative surgeon that made his mark on this earth. So what we're going to do is give just everyone a brief moment to share this broadcast. What I'm going to do is just do a quick little countdown, and we will give everyone a chance to share the broadcast. Let me see. I'm going to find this one right here because Perfect. Go ahead and play that one. That was quick. 30 seconds goes fast, doesn't it? Listen, as you come into the studio, let us know where you're visiting in from as well. Type your comments, ask questions, because we don't get a chance often to hear from someone that's still a remaining survivor of a legend. So let me go ahead and put up this so you'll see who we're talking about today. We're talking about Dr. Vivien Thomas. And I'm going to share this clip with you just to give you a flavor of what it is that Dr. Thomas brought to this world. So let me take a moment here and I'll share my screen and get that up for you all to view. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this is that's right here. This is good right here. I'm going to share this with you all. Let's take a look now.
Inside one of the most prestigious medical institutions is the painting of a man few know much about.
Everybody going to say, who's that?
Vivien T. Thomas never had more than a high school diploma, yet most heart surgeons know his name. As a lab technician at Johns Hopkins, Thomas helped develop an operation to correct a congenital heart defect in children called blue baby syndrome.
And it was really Vivien's dedication and brilliance in the lab developing this surgery that allowed this to move forward. And it was basically the beginning of surgery on the heart.
It came with enormous challenges. Racism was a barrier throughout his career.
He was one of the 20th century's greatest surgeons, and he never operated on a human.
Vivien Thomas did receive an honorary degree from Johns Hopkins in 1976, but he didn't get recognition for much of his career.
Knowing him, he probably said something like, I fixed the heart. That would be the end of it.
But his son-in-law says he was all about heart.
I would want people to understand that he was the most kind and the most steadiest person I believe I have ever met.
It's one of the reasons he's so glad to see so much of Thomas's contributions well preserved in the Hopkins Medical Archives.
This is the prototype defibrillator.
Vivien Thomas was part of that too. Johns Hopkins set up a fund in Thomas's name. It was established to increase diversity, but it's not the only place where his legacy lives on.
So these are x-rays so that she's able to see if the patient has any cavities in between.
Vivien T. Thomas Medical Arts Academy prepares students to enter the fields of science, mathematics, and various healthcare professions.
So students have an opportunity to get certified in a pathway in the medical field.
It offers either job training or preparation for secondary education.
So I want to be an orthodontist.
One thing that students can take away from this school is they can become whoever they want to be because the obstacles can be overcome.
Just like the man their school is named after. In Baltimore, Megan Pringle, WBAL TV 11 News.
Wow. I think I am just honored when I watched that clip. It let me know that I only know a few legends in my life. We'll pull you in, Ursula. Let me let everyone know too, when Ursula is not on the screen, it's because she's in a Caribbean island. She's in St. Martin on the Dutch side, and the internet is not that good there, but she really wants to be here to represent her grandfather. So when you see her pop in and off, that's why. Thank you, Ursula. Thank you. You're over welcome. There, the great granddaughter over there as well, that's helping behind the scenes to make it possible for your mom to be on today. So let me take a moment. We've heard some things about Dr. Vivien Thomas, but I want to take a moment to introduce the granddaughter of the late Dr. Vivien Thomas. He's from the movie Something That the Lord Made. Somebody may know about that. I know I do. We all do. Dr. Thomas is a pioneer in modern cardiovascular surgery and was instrumental in the blue baby syndrome during the heydays in the 1944. Dr. Thomas received his LLD from Johns Hopkins University in 1976. And Marcia Rasberry Smith is one of his granddaughters who grew up with him, living in his home until he passed in 1985. So that's Marcia that's here today. She served in the federal sector for over 20-something years, and she's here to tell her story of just growing up with granddaddy. That's what Marcia is here today to talk about. And then we also have with us Ursula Dykhoff, and Ursula is the youngest granddaughter of the late Dr. Vivien Thomas. She is the managing director of several family businesses on the Caribbean island in St. Martin, where she lives with her family, and she's been a resident of St. Martin for over 30 years. And her sister, Marcia, were both born in Baltimore, Maryland, and live with their mother and their grandparents, Clara and Vivien Thomas, until they both left for college out of state. Welcome to both of you today. And I want to hear a lot from you all. So I wanted to get all of the introductions out of the way. I'm done with all of that, but I want to hear from either of you. Let's start with you, Marcia, and talk to us about being a granddaughter of the late Dr. Vivien Thomas.
Yes, what would you like to know? But it was fun growing up
okay, so what we'd like to know, either of you all can talk about it.
Him around the house, and
we all get to see this legend. We get to see a legendary surgeon. So when we see him, we see blue baby syndrome, something the Lord have made. But what did you all see him as?
Go ahead.
And Ursula,
when we were home. Okay. Go ahead, Ursula.
He was our grandfather, and as a child, that's all you know, that he is your grandfather or he is your parent. You never really know the importance of your parents. At least most children, I don't think they know until they become adults. So he played with us all the time, every afternoon. And he was stern, you know. We respected everything he said, very much so. I used to go to the hospital with him sometimes after school. I was constantly going up the little driveway. There was a ramp, and I used to walk up the ramp with him and go to the hospital sometimes in the evening. And I believe at one point in my life, when I was graduating from high school, he thought that I would want to follow in his footsteps in the medical profession. And I did not. It was a little disappointing for both he and my grandparents that I opted not to go into medicine. But nonetheless, it was a pleasure being raised in their home, you know. So I do have a tremendous amount of memories of sitting in a chair with my grandfather, reading to him every night, or he used to read to me, and then I used to read to him. And yeah, it's just so many memories like that that I recall.
Wow. How about you, Marcia? What were your
Well,
memories?
we learned a great big amount of information from him. Like Ursula was saying, we had time with him every evening when we came home from school. We followed him around the yard when he was doing yard work. Ursula would climb up on the ladder and go up on the roof with him when he went up on the roof to inspect the roof. But he taught us yard work, how to appreciate yard work, how to get started in gardening. And their yard was a beautiful yard. It was surrounded by flowers and trees all the way around, and from front side and back and on the front, you know, and we knew every tree. We knew the name of every flower. We knew the name of every vegetable in the garden he was growing. And um, I developed a green thumb from that, you know, so I appreciate yard work, you know, and I love doing yard work and growing my own vegetables at home and everything. And it's because of him, you know. And he did teach us a little bit of shop because before he really got into Hopkins, he was into carpentry. And we learned a little bit of carpentry from him, basic things, you know, while we were growing up. And, you know, during the summers when we weren't in camp, he would take us to Washington, D.C., to Smithsonian or all the natural history museums or the space museums or whatever. He took us all around during the summertime for educational purposes. We went to Maine, we went to Georgia, we went all over the place. He would take us places for educational purposes to enrich our learning experience beyond school.
Wow.
We had a rich history.
So even though during the time that he was creating this new procedure, it was in the deep South, segregation, but in your home, it was just love, is what I think I'm hearing, correct? So did you all not even really
That's right.
experience? Did you all, were you sheltered from what was happening in the rest of the world regarding the racism and things that were happening around you? You're muted, Ursula. I see your lips, but you're muted.
Yeah, I don't really think we were sheltered. I don't see it as that. But my grandfather used to say, we're human beings first, then we are either male or female, and then we're whatever color that we feel when we need to represent that. And that is the thinking that he always, you know, brought about when he spoke, because he wasn't really about the James Brown movement. I remember when James Brown, you know, came out, and he wasn't really all about that. He couldn't understand it. But I don't think we were sheltered. But I think that how, I don't want to use maybe that particular era or that time that you're raised, it's not a children problem. There was no racism in the house, you know, there was no discussions about race. I actually had no idea about anything sorts of discrimination or anything until I actually went to university and started reading
Wow.
all of the history of their life. And
That
we used to go to Macon, Georgia by my grandmother's family. And we knew his side of the family, all the cousins, all the relatives, everyone. But there was no, there was no echo or anything in our home that would have said to us, you know, there was no negativity about life and I really never, I don't think I'm sheltered. I don't think we were sheltered. You know, we couldn't do things like play in the street. If
but
someone
that's
wanted to play
everybody.
with us, they had to come in the backyard and play. We couldn't wear bandanas because yeah, we couldn't wear bandanas. My grandmother thought that it was an Aunt Jemima thing. She had something with that. We couldn't do there were certain things we couldn't do, like when the style became very popular. I remember like corn rolls and that kind of thing. She said we couldn't do corn rolls when we were young, you know, that kind of thing, because maybe that associated with something that she didn't like. But we saw it as her personal preference, not that she was, you know, there was any racism issues. So no, I don't know how Marcia would answer that question, but I certainly I certainly have no had no idea growing up about the
Well,
problems that he endured. But I would like to say, in case I get cut off, that the gentleman that I can't his name doesn't come to me, that played my grandfather in the movie, he portrayed the character of my grandfather, which I believe is the most important thing. And that was his humbleness and his spirit. And because of his, and that is what he displayed with us, his lack of aggression. He didn't really exhibit any anger or anything at home. So through that, you know, it was sort of like, this is the man, Vivien Thomas, you know. And I think that they could not have picked a better person to display that character, because as I've grown older, that is what I remember about him.
Wow. I'm glad you said that. The person that I believe, and you tell me if it's somebody different, but it's Moss Def.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
I have an image of him. Let me
Absolutely.
download that. This gentleman is the one that played the role of your grandfather, and I thought he did a magnificent
He
job as
did.
well. I
He did.
saw Gabrielle Union and different other ones that were a part of the cast as well, but this is the character, the young man that
Yes.
played the
Yeah.
role of your
Yeah.
grandfather.
Yeah.
And so, great job, Mos Def, for playing your role in something that the Lord made.
Made. Correct.
Yes. Now, what about from your perspective, Marcia? Do you think you all were sheltered? Marcia, do you
no, I
think?
don't think we were sheltered. You know, we were a family first, and we everything else was basically secondary. You know, every year we had the cousins and family friends over, and you know we had family gatherings, Fourth of July, when people came in for Easter holidays or whatever, and we had family times when it was just us during the summer, and we went to plays, or we went to vacation together, different places we went together. We were not about movements that involved um, the id and the ego situations, like racial tension and things like that. We might have seen it on television. We might have had questions. We might have asked questions, and he sat down and gave us answers. But we did not get us involved in it, and they did not encourage us to be involved in it. They basically encouraged us to build our character based on a career situation. I loved art, and I loved to draw and scribble and everything else. So I had did this one piece in school, trying to do my mightiest, my might of the hand and arm. And he thought it was very good. Both he and my mother were very impressed about it. And he wanted to know if I would be interested in considering a career as um, a medical uh, a medical artist, doing medical drawings, anatomy of the body and things like that. And at 18 years old, that sounded so boring, and I had to wrinkle my nose about it, right? And I was like, do I want to study the bones, the muscles, and everything like that? But to this day, when you hit 50 years old and the body starts breaking down like your check engine light came on, it's something you think about. Man, this would have been a good thing to do. I would have been able to research the thyroid. I would have been able to draw this, that, and the other. So when I think back on it, sometimes I wonder if I did miss the opportunity, to really look into that. But at 18 years old, we just didn't seem like it was exciting enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, everybody. Today we're talking with legendary innovative surgeon, Dr. Vivien Thomas's granddaughters. Now, they are surviving still here on this earth to share with some of the wonderful things that have happened from their grandfather being the creator of the blue baby syndrome procedure that changed the world. So when we come back from this commercial break, I would love to find out from you all, why do you think it took so long for him to receive the recognition for his work? When we come back after this commercial break, we're going to hear about our episode sponsor, Snow Legal, at this time.
I'm attorney Kenneth D. Snow, and at the Snow Legal Group, justice is our job.
For more than 20 years, Attorney Snow has been fighting for justice and winning cases in the Carolinas by providing aggressive representation in criminal defense, domestic violence, family law, serious injury, and wrongful death. If you've been injured or lost a loved one in an accident, including tractor trailer or rideshare, you need the Snow Legal Group by your side, fighting for justice and fighting for you. Visit snowlegal.com. Call 704-358-0026 for a free virtual consultation. Located at 6827 Fairview Road, Suite D in South Park.
All right, everyone, we are back and we're talking with two of the granddaughters of legendary innovative surgeon, the one that created the procedure to help with blue baby syndrome. We're talking with the granddaughters of the late Dr. Vivien Thomas. Okay. And so tell us from your perspective, Ursula, why do you think it took so long for your grandfather to be recognized for his work?
I know that seems to be a that seems to be a something very it's a good word to use. Can't think of it. That seems to be something very prominent in our culture, not recognizing or acknowledging things, achievements of Black people. And we see it more and more every day. Why it comes so late is the fault of our leadership, maybe, or not wanting to acknowledge that there was such a thing as a
okay, Marcia.
History has a way of catching up with the achievements of people later in life. And I remember, even though we were present for his unveiling of his portrait, we were both present when he received his LLD and at Hopkins. And those were proud moments, And when he wrote his book, the day it was published was actually the day he passed. So he never got to see his book when it came off from the publishing department. One of the doctors he had trained and Hopkins, trained in cardiovascular surgery, was there to pick up the first copy and
Oh,
brought it down to Baltimore. Drove straight from Philadelphia to Baltimore to hand it to him, but when he got to the door, it was too late. So it was one of those sad things that you remember, the small details, and he wasn't around for the movie or anything like this. And, my grandmother, she had a bit of an attitude about it, and I'm sure
yeah, I
some
can
other
imagine.
family members did too. But Ursula and I are here as a generation who are proud to look back on the legacy of what he did, what he achieved, and what others achieved in society, despite the way history works against the African American culture about who should be given credit for this, that, and the other, We're
Right.
proud, of its achievement.
Yes. Well, I'm glad that you all are here to share his story and to be able to carry on his legacy and to receive the baton is what
Yeah,
you all have done.
absolutely.
So I'm
And
honored
yeah,
to be a
I
part of
would
that. Go ahead, Ursula.
I would like to say our mother is still living and well in Florida. Um, Theodosia is her name, Theodosia Rasberry. And we also have a cousin as well. Her name is Nina, and she is
Yes, Nina is our first cousin. She is the daughter of my mother's sister, and my mother's sister passed away a year ago, and so did my uncle-in-law, her husband. But my mother, yes, she's in Florida, and Nina, she's well. And so it's just the three of us grandchildren and my mother from Vivien's side of the family who's still, around. And
Awesome.
so,
That's awesome. So I was trying to see if I could find a picture here, but I'm not sure. I got to figure out which person it is, but I'll probably figure this out at some point. Can you all talk about what blue baby syndrome even what is it? I've seen here on the research according to WebMD, and I'll share some of this, but then if you want to add more to it, being that your grandfather may have talked about it, but according to WebMD, it is known as cyanosis is when your baby's skin has a bluish discoloration, especially when they cry. This discoloration is most obvious in the baby's lips and hands. This condition is known because of a shortage of oxygen in our baby's bloodstream, and it causes different abnormalities. But is there anything that, as your grandfather was creating a procedure for it, did he ever talk about blue baby syndrome at home?
no, he did not talk about it at home. And again, it was just those just were not. I don't know if he thought we were too young to get it. I don't know, or to understand that's possible. Or we showed a disinterest, as in typical teenagers. Our interests were elsewhere. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
granddad. That's nice.
yeah.
What
You
are we
know,
cooking?
I mean, we were born at a special time in history. I find Marcia and I, Black Panther, and that sort of thing. So I think it was a lot of things going on, but I don't, we never had those discussions. So I cannot actually add to that any more than what you already read. But I must say that even Mars, we meet a lot more and more people who reach out telling us, I think was it Jimmy Fallon or one of them had a baby, Jimmy Kimball, one of the two of the nighttime hosts had a baby that suffered from blue baby syndrome. And he actually was on his late night program, shared something about my grandfather and thanked him for the fact that, it is the procedure that saved the life of his son.
Wow.
So Yeah, and I think recently someone reached out to Marcia on Facebook, sent a picture of this beautiful baby, and also just said, like, thank you and God bless you and your family, for the efforts of the innovations of your grandfather. So, I guess you don't realize the impact. You feel that modern medicine has come so far, but still there's people that are reaching out, very thankful that that procedure has allowed their babies to, have life.
Wow. I'm glad you talked about that, because it was Jimmy Fallon. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel reveals
Yeah,
details of
yes.
his son's birth and heart defect. And so he does go on YouTube to talk about how important this revelation is
Procedure, yeah.
in this procedure that was
Right.
done by your father. So
Yeah.
definitely, he said he found this out on April 21st. They gave birth to a baby boy, and his name's William. And he goes on to talk about this. So I do have a piece of that YouTube clip, but it's like 13 minutes. So what I will do is just put the link in here for you all, and you'll be able to hear that footage of Jimmy Kimmel revealing his son's birth and heart disease that he had. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that he took time to acknowledge that this was a procedure that helped his child as well. All right. Let's see here. Any people that are in the studio audience, if you have questions or comments, type them in and I'll be happy to go to them. Today, we're talking with two living survivors of Dr. Vivien Thomas. I'll put his image back up again. He's an innovative surgeon that created a procedure for blue baby syndrome. One of his granddaughters has a hearing impairment, so I'm speaking slower and she's reading closed captioning just to make sure that this episode is a positive experience for everyone. Okay, so I'm excited about this, super excited. Let's see, anybody else have any questions? I see you in the studio audience. Athena is on and she said, yes, it's amazing to see these beautiful queens carry on the legacy and share the proud moments. Yes, thank you for that, our sunshine expert. Also, some other people were on. I see you. My mom said, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
And she's watching you all today. And any other comments that you have, just keep them flooding in and we'll pop them on the screen. I see you, Ursula, backstage again. Let me pull this one out. Okay. And what I'd like to do right now is show a quick clip from something the Lord hath made. And after we watch that clip, I would like to know from you all, what was it like seeing your grandfather portrayed on the big screen? So let's take a look at this clip. I'll share it, and then we'll get a chance to just see. I think Mos Def is actually his stage name. He's a rapper and all the different things that he does. And thank you for that, Andrew, backstage. But we're going to see if we can find this clip.
Right.
Hold on one second. You know what? I have so many different screens open. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a commercial break first and go to tell you about our next episode sponsor, which is Silver Shield Security. And when we come back, I'll play the clip. So let's go to commercial now.
It's not just another day. It's a brand new day, full of all the fun, love, and laughter you and your family create. Silver Shield Security understands feeling at home means feeling safe and happy. No credit checks, no contracts. We offer payment arrangements, and we'll even give you a free door camera. Find out how we can brighten your day even more at silvershield-security.com. Silver Shield Security.
All right, everyone, we are back, and we're talking with granddaughters of the legendary innovative surgeon, Dr. Vivien Thomas. Now, we're going to play a clip. He was also featured on the big screen in a movie called Something the Lord Hath Made. And I want to take a moment to share a piece of that clip with you now. Okay, so we're going to go to it and let you just see him being portrayed on the big screen.
Why would a doctor want to hire a cop?
This is where my work is done.
What is your work?
Medical research. Let me see those hands.
You must have got it. Oh, Vivien! It's working at a hospital, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna see how smart you are.
Vivien, Dr. Blaylock wanted you to have this.
Excuse me, all workers punch in at the rear entrance.
He's with me.
I'm sorry, Dr. Blaylock, but that's the rules.
I don't think that she's breathing right now. I don't think that she's breathing.
The baby back there, how long?
6 months. Are you going to take this on, doctor?
No one's ever done anything as hard as this.
You can't operate on the heart, that's basic.
There must be a way to get more blood to the lungs.
If we focus on the pulmonary artery.
Who on this God's earth are you?
Got that white coat, just the last 3 work the same as me.
I'd like some coffee and a donut.
What about you going to medical school?
You don't have to remind me of that, Clara. We have a family now.
Let's start with experiments. Let's break their rules. You can begin the incision.
I'm not ready for that.
If I say you're ready, you're ready.
You have to see this. Vivien Thomas is operating, assisted by the chief of surgery.
Retract.
No sushi.
Can't we try things my way occasionally? I think we found a way to repair your daughter's heart.
Your quest for glory is vain. Postpone the operation until you have more experience.
Postponing and signing that baby's death warrant. I'm operating tomorrow.
Hey, Vivien Thomas. What's wrong? What's happening?
Agent Vivien Thomas. Come on in right now. You're talking me through this. Scrub up.
What's he doing here?
You can resume your duties.
These are his duties. We made history together. We changed the world.
Wow, this is please tell us from your perspective, was it like seeing your grandfather's work coming to life? Marcia?
Actually, Ursula and I went to the premiere and we saw that and we had a lip hit the shoe moment. We turned around and looked at one another and looked back at the screen and looked at one another saying, what? You know, we grew up in a time we went up to Hopkins to the lab, but all this that was going on over the years, we never knew. Right. And then there was the days we would just sit in the car and wait for him to come out of the hospital before we go home. But the full circle of that movie, when we saw it from start to finish, we saw our grandfather like we never knew him and who he was, the man in Hopkins, and what he did. Because at home, he was a different figure. He was the father figure, the grandfather, the fixer of all things around the house. And we just saw him in a different perspective at that point. But then we understood the significance of his work in the medical field. Wow.
Ursula? You might be muted, Ursula.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't express it better than how Marcia expressed it. It was like, wow, you know, we had really no idea. Like again, you know, for us growing up, he was just our grandfather, and to actually see that's what he achieved, his achievements, was really something that was an indescribable moment. You know, you were just unable to wrap your hands around, like, wow, this is the person. You know, at the end of the day, it's our grandfather, you know. So of course we were super proud. But as you grow older, at least in my case, you know, the significance becomes even greater because I have people reaching out to me all the time. The same thing with Marcia, people wanting to write books, people constantly reaching out to my mother. And yeah, so we're honored to be part of his legacy. And my grandfather had 2 daughters, 3 granddaughters, and now he has 3 great granddaughters. So bring them. I used to bring them to Baltimore every year to spend time with their great grandmother. So they grew up in the house every summer for at least a month, spending time in the memories of him, even though he was absent, but with my grandmother, who is near and dear to our hearts as well before she passed. So we're really proud to go different places, to Nashville for the hanging of his portrait, and to go to Baltimore to the medical university and talk to, not university, the medical high school, and talk to the students there. We feel really proud at that moment that we were living beings in the house around him. And, and he was our grandfather. That was it.
Now I can feel how honored you all feel. And I wanted to find out too, is this your family?
That's my mother and her sister. The smallest one is my mother on my grandfather's lap. She's still living in Florida. And the eldest one on my grandmother's lap is Olga, who passed away last year.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Beautiful family.
Thank you.
Whatever happened with the person, Dr. Alfred Blaylock? Is it Blaylock? Is that his name?
Yes.
Whatever happened with him? Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
Marcia, no, I didn't. We didn't. I did not meet Dr. Blaylock. Did you? No.
Okay, but he did play a key. He was still a key part of some things that you all
remember. Some of these things that some of these events that played out. Remember the years that it was, and quite a lot of it was during the time that we were not born. Coming up to the point in which my grandparents moved to Baltimore, and then the time that their children were born, and by the time Marcia and I were born, and Nina. So so quite some of the people had passed on. I think Marcia met some of them, like Helen Towson. Who all have you met, Marcia, in that circle? Who have you met?
Marcia, who did you meet?
Well, we met some of the doctors who were in that circle who he had trained, who were part of the Old Hands Club. Many names come to mind, but we knew them, and unfortunately they're all past now. And there are a new group of surgeons and doctors now who didn't know Vivien personally, but showed up in Nashville when this portrait was being hung in the unveiling in Nashville. They all showed up to witness the moment and meet the family because, like, everybody was curious. But it was great to meet them. They were head of surgery, head of cardiovascular units, and that were a wonderful group of African American doctors and administrators, and we were happy to meet them. And they were so proud of their legacy, and they just wanted to meet the family of Vivien Thomas.
Yes.
And but no, I believe Blaylock passed in '64. In '64, if I could correct my memory, I was like fourth grade, and fourth grade. So I didn't get to meet him then. I don't think we ever did. I don't think we ever saw him. We never met him. I don't remember at all. And but we did meet some of the others, maybe over the years when we went to some of the premieres of the movie, the HBO movie. We met a few who were able to attend the event, and met some of the actors, and met some people behind the scenes and all.
Wow.
But they've all gone on now. But it was a blessing to be able to share time and know that these were people who were impacted by my grandfather's work, people who worked alongside him. And I really, because there was a few whose hands I really wanted to shake ever since I was a little girl, and I was running up to everybody, said, Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, introduce myself, tell them who I was. But they've gone on. But I was happy to have the opportunity to meet them because my grandfather talked about them in his book.
Wow.
And so for me,
Well, tell us about the renaming of a street that was in honor of your grandfather. How was that moment for you all?
Oh, that was a beautiful day. Unfortunately, it was in the middle of the pandemic, and not a lot of the family members were able to go. So we do have family on Vivian's side in Nashville who's still there, and my cousin and I were able to attend the event, and it was a wonderful event. And we were in a tent, and where the ceremony was performed outside, and we got to hear the speeches and the stories, and it was wonderful.
And it's
And
called
from
Vivien
there,
Thomas
I
Way.
went back to it. Went Yes, Vivien Thomas Way, and from there I went back to the building where the portrait was hung because when the portrait was commissioned to be hung, it wasn't hung at the time. So I wanted to go back to the building to see the portrait being hung in the auditorium where it was hung, and I got pictures of that. So it was a wonderful, wonderful event. The weather was great, so I wouldn't miss it for anything. But it was a proud moment.
I am so happy
Also,
for you. I'm so happy for your family because oftentimes,
also, I just before, yeah.
what did you say, Ursula?
I just wanted to say briefly, there's also a commemorative stamp petition going on to have him placed on the U.S. postage stamp. So that is one of
Yeah, one of the things we've been pushing um, for I think the last 2 years, gathering up enough signatures so that we would like to see him on a commemorative stamp. And
Oh, that
so
would be.
we've been working on that for several years. I think 2 years.
Okay, I see the petition and it's right here on change.org. So I am going to, yeah, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Let
that's
me
it.
see right now. Okay, let's see here. Yes, I want to show this to you all. Thank you for bringing that up, Ursula. Let's see. Here's where you'll go and we'll put it in the comment section. Everyone, please today go and sign this petition to have Dr. Vivien Thomas become a commemorative, his image to be placed on a commemorative USPS stamp. And here you'll see right now 5,377 people have signed. We need 7,500 signatures. We can do that. We can do that. I think he is the most untalked about, unappreciated, unknown giant in the African American community. What he helped facilitate impacted people all over the world. This is a quote from Dr. Levi Watkins at Johns Hopkins University. So he says, please join me in this petition to the United States Postal Service to create a stamp honoring Vivien T. Thomas, a medical pioneer who overcame huge obstacles and institutionalized racism to help revolutionize cardiac surgery. And he's paved the way, we know, for many other Black doctors across the country. So please, today, sign this petition. I'll put this right here in the comment section, but sign Dr. Vivien Thomas's petition to have his image and likeness placed on a commemorative stamp in the United States Postal Service. Let me put that here in the comment section so you all will know exactly where to go without having to even search for it. Make sure you take a moment and sign that today. And I see you, Tanya Anderson. Lady Tanya Anderson says, good morning. What an amazing legacy you all are continuing to carry on today. Awesome comments. Keep your comments coming in. I would love to see that movie. Athena Robertson, when you see that movie, your life will change forever. Only because it's just such a jaw-dropping, eye-opening, information-packed. You just can't believe what's happening here. So thank you. All right. So did we talk about, we talked about a lot of stuff, but tell us about any of the stories that you heard or witnessed growing up at your grandparents' home. What did they do for fun? What were some of their hobbies? What was it like? Just tell us some. I know you said gardening and you talked about
traveling.
Movies. Talk to us about some of these hobbies again.
Well, I don't know if they were hobbies, but my grandmother used to play baseball with Marcia and I in the backyard. And
was she
even
good?
until I bought my children, she used to play with them, and she could still hit that ball straight out of the backyard into the alley. Okay, so she was very physically fit and not, but she was just amazing, her whole spirit of living. And I think they were a beautiful, dynamic couple together. I enjoyed growing up there with them. And yeah, like Marcia said, we used to take a lot of road trips because I don't think my grandfather liked to travel. So we used to drive to Nashville, drive to Macon, Georgia, drive to Detroit, drive to Canada, to the World's Fairs, drive to DC on the weekends. So those are the kind of things we did a lot of, and it was just a nice dynamic in the home. My grandmother loved to cook. And because she was such an amazing seamstress, I sew. I used to sew as well, so growing up, I used to sew a lot.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So.
How about you, Marcia?
Well, like I said, hobbies, I got my green thumb from them, no doubt. And and I heard from my mother. My grandmother used to do bowling. She used to do needlepoint and things like that. And I loved doing those things too. But I used to bowl. I got on the bowling team in college. And I had no idea that anybody in the family had done these things and that it was something they used to do when they were younger. But, as time went on, those hobbies just got pushed in the background because they were focused on us so much. But Granddaddy loved to listen to music in the evening while he was reading the newspaper. He would take some time out to read the paper a little bit, maybe listen to the news on the radio, or we might watch the news before dinner on TV. But having a hobby outside of home, he did not. I think back in those days, people were either just involved in the church or something like that. But he was basically more family oriented. And I don't even remember what kind of music he used to like.
I was going to ask that. That was going to be my next question.
Mellow type of music.
I don't know.
Well, it was just soothing and relaxing. Probably after a long day at the hospital, he wanted to relax, So interesting. Yeah, I'm sure was very relaxing. So as I see you, Ursula, coming back in, we'll pop you up. Okay. And again, Ursula is in St. Martin. So the internet is going all over the place over there, but we are just so grateful to have the granddaughters of legendary, literally Dr. Vivien Thomas, who created a procedure that helped change the world when it came to blue baby syndrome. And many people know about blue baby syndrome, but they don't know that even celebrities and something falling over there, but celebrities, and I know that Jimmy Kimmel shared his story publicly. And so I'm going to place these images up there, public images that were all on the internet. And this one was from today.com. I want to make sure that I reference where the source is coming from. And him and his family in this particular image, they are on ndtv.com is where that image is. And he's sharing the story about his young son that had a defect at birth and that caused some bluish color in his complexion. So this procedure has helped change the lives of people even today. Let's take a commercial break. And then when we come back, I would love to hear any final thoughts that you all may have. What do you really want everyone to know as survivors of Dr. Vivien Thomas? That's what I'd like to hear when we come back after hearing from our next episode sponsor, which is Hunter Everidge Law Firm. We'll be right back.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everidge, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
All right, everyone, and we're back, but I do need to also just acknowledge that Lamb Funeral Home is also one of our episode sponsors, and I want to play their commercial briefly as well.
Lamb Funeral Home has been serving the Cabarrus County.
I want to play this, Mackenzie. That's what I'm going to play.
Lamb
now.
Funeral Home has been serving the Cabarrus County in North Carolina and surrounding communities for more than 9 years. Our staff of funeral directors are dedicated to providing the very highest quality of service and continue to be well respected throughout the communities we serve. Our professionals are caring, experienced professionals who understand that each family is unique and has personal requests and traditions. These requests and traditions are the utmost importance to our staff of licensed funeral directors. From the initial care to aftercare, you can entrust your loved one and arrangements to Lamb Funeral Home.
All right. Thank you so much, Lamb Funeral Home, as well, for being one of our episode sponsors today. And I do want to make sure that when you know that the owner of this funeral home is a veteran. They have over 28 years of experience. So when you give them a call, they're certified in all 50 states. So you can reach out to them at their local number, but you will be able to get service no matter where you are in the country with some of the questions that you may have. So I want to pop their information up here on the screen. Please share with us what a closing thought may be for you all, especially because you've become these wonderful, powerful women too. So maybe there's something that your grandparents shared with you that inspired you to be who you are today. Share a thought with us. Ursula?
Well, for me, I just feel really proud to be part of his legacy. And I think something beautiful has been placed in my hands and in my heart, that it's for me to continue that which was given to me. And that is more of a something that you can't see physically, but that dwells the determination, the motivation, the love, the humanity side, the humility side of living. Those are the kind of qualities of being a good human I would like to pass on to my children. And for me, that's what growing up in that home gave me.
Wow. Just being a great human. What a blessing from God that a grandparent can pass a baton and you go on in life knowing that if I don't do anything else in life, I want to be a great human.
Absolutely.
What a major attribute as you honor your grandfather's legacy and still your grandmother's living legacy. She's watching you all carry out his dream as you're still walking this earth. Thank you, Ursula. Okay,
Thank you very much, Kim.
Marcia, closing thought. Marcia, what is your closing thought?
Growing up with him and hearing about his story, one of the things that comes to mind is that how we say life is unfair. Well, life gives you limits, but you don't have to let your path be defined by the sorrow of life or anything sour for that matter. He taught us to move on, be happy, and enjoy life and make the best for your children and your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and be move beyond hurt because you're going to don't let hurt define you. Don't let bitterness define you. And like we never saw any of that. If he was bitter, if he was hurt, if he was disappointed, we never saw any of that. He didn't come home sad. And from that, we have an example to, move forward and not have a negative attitude about anything in life. And I was happy for that. And when I think about him and think about those experiences that define his life, I'm really proud of him and what he's passed on to us. And a lot of people can learn from that. It's not about what a lot of people are raving about nowadays in time. They forget to look forward and look past the limits and smell the roses and smell the sweet rain. And that's what you have to do to keep moving forward in life.
Beautiful. Now I see that great granddaughter back there walking back behind. Does she want to say, this is an opportunity to just say one comment about your great grandfather? If you want to stop, you've been working hard to make it work in St. Martin for your mom. If you have a comment, I think is her name Marissa?
Maritza, yes.
Marissa, she's gorgeous back there, by the way. And you want to come on and say one quick comment? I want to give you that opportunity.
Maritza? No, she's a little too shy.
Get out of here, girl. You look like you could be in Hollywood. You might well just step on out and say, everybody, I know y'all all think that the whole world already got all these great actors and actresses, but I could have played my own grandma because look at what God done gifted me with. Girl, get your face on that screen. You look good.
There
you look good. Trust me. All right, you sure? Going once, going twice.
She said, come before she goes off here. Come.
Okay, I'm gonna go to one quick. Okay, come say something. Say something, Marissa.
Say something, Maritza.
Anything you want to say about your grandfather and what he's left as a legacy for you? Anything?
That it is wow. Every time, we went to which one?
Nashville for the unveiling.
And unveiling, it was really, I guess, amazing to know that somebody, generations past, part of your family did something like this, and to this day it's pretty unbelievable for me. So yeah.
And do you look like your grandma, your great grandma? Because you kind of remind me of her over there. I don't know, but you're so.
I think we used to tell her that she had my grandmother's nose. But she did that.
Well, thank you for coming on too, because the point is the legacy continues on. And you all are going to keep passing the baton, and he's going to go in history as someone that has changed the face of earth. And you all are living to tell his story, all because you've decided that I'm not going to let his memory fade or phase away. It's worthy of being celebrated and honored. And God says, give honor to where honor is due. And honor is due to Dr. Vivien Thomas and to all of you all as you continue to carry on his legacy. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you very much, Kim, for having us.
I appreciate it. I want to let everybody know tomorrow I will not have a show. I won't have a rerun, none of it, because my sister transitioned to be with the Lord, and we will be having her homegoing on Saturday. And so I just want you to know to keep our family in your prayers. But tomorrow, because you all do follow our program, that I want you to know my sister Ruth Jacobs will be doing things with our family and everything in honor of her homegoing celebration of life on this Saturday, which will be happening. So keep the Jacobs family in prayer. She's one of 10 siblings, and all of her siblings are definitely in need of your prayer. She has 3 children that are living and multiple grandchildren, lots of nieces and nephews. So please keep the Jacobs family in your prayers. And so we'll be back on Monday. And so please be sure to tune in then. I am honored to have this opportunity, and you all have truly blessed us today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you all. Okay.
All right. Thank you
All
for
right.
having us on the show. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Everybody, please make sure that you look at that full-length movie is right there. There's a link if you want to see the movie. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Mackenzie, backstage for making all of these things happen today in a flawless fashion. If you want to ever support the Kim Jacobs Show, these are some ways to do it. This is original program content, and you can support our program and become an online contributor and help the program continue to flourish. So there are all different types of ways to do that, and take a moment to review those and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show on our YouTube channel. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thank you. Mackenzie, we're going to close out now. Dr. Marcia and Ursula, God bless you, and Marissa. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show.